Welcome down the rabbit hole, friends. Okay, this is Ken Urker's sister, all right? She's quite a beauty, in my opinion, and she's been speaking out on social media about Ken and Gypsy for, about 2 months now. She doesn't have a lot to say, but when she says it, I find it all quite interesting. And I want to talk about it because about a week or two ago, this new rumor, information, a screenshot started making the rounds with so many creators, and people were talking about how there was a time when someone came into a chat room and accused Ken of being gay. All right. And I even saw Fancy Miss Sally talking about it. And I thought this was so interesting because I was like, come on, Fancy, come on, all you people. Most of you creators know this was old news. It happened 6 years ago when Ken first started dating Gypsy, and Ken and his mother got involved in a couple of Facebook groups, one in particular all about Gypsy. What they did in those groups is quite interesting, and their relationship with Christy Blanchard is even more interesting to me. Okay, Rabbit here, breaking in to say, take a look at this screenshot. Check out this Facebook group. It was a Facebook group run by Natasha Cooper, and it was called Murder of Dee Dee Blanchard Discussion Group. Okay, this was 6 years ago that this group became extremely popular, and this is the main group that I'm aware Ken and Raina, his mother, were involved in. Now, does it all make sense? Because if you don't recognize Natasha Cooper's name, let me make you aware that Natasha's become big on TikTok, and one of the reasons that she became so big is because Ken, a month ago, went on her TikTok to chat with her, which was shocking because Natasha has always been, very much against Gypsy in a lot of ways, but she's had a weird toxic relationship with Christy Blanchard. Oh my God, the shit that's gone on in this toxic web is crazy. And Ken and Gypsy went on Natasha Cooper's TikTok when they hadn't really gone on anyone else's channel or TikTok, and it was kind of shocking for all of us. But guess what? Ken had a relationship with Natasha a long time ago, for the good and the bad of it. He went into her group with his mother to try to dispel the myths about him being gay, him cheating on Gypsy, all of this crap that was being spewed all over that Facebook group when he first started dating Gypsy in prison. It's old news. There is a great channel. She's available on YouTube and TikTok, and the name of the channel is called Conspiracy, and she's amazing. Most of you probably watch her. She has 1 million followers, but if you don't, you should follow her specifically about the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. She does a great job of explaining it, and here she's talking about the post that was made 6 years ago. Now, I don't think Conspiracy would know that it was 6 years ago because unlike Fancy, she wasn't around for all that BS. But she talks about it, and this is what all the creators are talking about right now. This 6-year-old post that so far has amounted to nothing.
This screenshot of what is allegedly Ken Urker's ex-boyfriend has now been circulating in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard Facebook groups and now here on TikTok. So someone by the original name of Steve Wood commented, "Hey Gyps, tell Ken that I want all of our pictures, videos, and scrapbooks returned ASAP. He thought he was cute using me while playing house with you. I have some good stories to tell ya if you want to hit me up in my DMs. Also want my personally engraved ring and necklace back. I have a box of his stuff too. Tell that BITCH to call me. And by the way, when are you going to tell everyone that you are pregnant and trapped poor Ken like Dee Dee trapped Rod? Asking for a friend. Yeah, Ken confided to me and is scared as FUCK that you are going to be a mom too."
But once Ken entered into the world of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, a lot of people started a lot of slithery snakes started sliding out from the shadows and making all kinds of weird, crazy claims about Ken Urker. One of them was that he was gay, he's been in gay relationships, and he's just taking advantage of Gypsy Rose. I mean, this is one of the reasons why Ken and his mother entered into the Facebook groups, is they wanted to defend Ken and, get attention and talk about his relationship with Gypsy and make a big deal about him, right? And Fancy Maselli especially is heavily aware of this because she was very much involved. It is true that some random guy came into one of the groups and made a post about Ken being gay, but it's never been substantiated in any way, shape, or form, and it was 6 years ago. Just to confirm further what's happening here, this is a screenshot from Natasha Cooper allegedly writing to Gypsy Blanchard in prison, and she's talking to Gypsy about all the issues she's come across in her Facebook group with Ken and Christy and Fancy, who are all in there doing weird shit. So Natasha writes, Gypsy, what you said completely contradicts everything that your stepmother and Fancy are doing. They posted your content information for the world to see and pimped it out to every group online, encouraging people to write to you. You've even asked people who have written to you to write to the governor on your behalf. The Act was an awesome and extremely popular show. There is also now Dr. Phil's podcast about your story. Fancy and Christy are in Touch magazine every week. Christy even had her appearances listed on her Twitter as if they were acting credentials. Whether you like it or not, your case and your story are everywhere. I looked last night and there are over 100 Facebook groups pertaining to your case and story. I never had ill intentions towards you or Ken. I'm the admin of a Facebook group. I just post things that members send me that pertain to the story. Like it or not, when Christy released Ken's name, he became part of the story and people are nosy. They're going to dissect every part of his life. Same with Brian Golden. I was nothing but nice to Ken in my group. I was nice to his mother and she even told me she liked me. Then Raina has her roommate plaster my mugshot all over to discredit me, but it backfired. We received over 1,000 new members over the weekend. Now people are more interested than ever, myself included, to uncover any and every secret that is out there. Too many things don't add up. So if what you're saying is true about not wanting media attention, your best bet is to start sweeping out your own house. This media frenzy started long before I made my group. Okay. So, these are allegedly messages from Natasha Cooper to Gypsy, letting her know, yeah, your boyfriend Ken, his mom, her roommate, Christy Blanchard, and Fancy are all messing around in my group like crazy. And they've even dug up my past information and shared screenshots of my past legal history. And this was a whole issue that occurred within the Facebook group and made people come after Ken and Gypsy even more. Now, since then, I believe that Natasha has lost this Facebook group, but she's started another group on TikTok and has other Facebook groups. And at one point, she even had a YouTube channel, and she's very popular in the community that talks about Gypsy. Once again, we just looking at the insanity of what's happened here, the toxic, crazy web where people are not friends, but then years later, they'll form an alliance with one another. I mean, Gypsy and Ken recently went on Natasha Cooper's TikTok and brought her a ton of subscribers. But we can see here, she was kind of shitting all over Ken and Gypsy at one point. And then look at how Ken's mother, Raina, got involved in all of this years ago in 2019. This has been a long time coming. It's been going on for so long. There's so much more to the story than most of us could ever understand. And I just want to present some of that for you here. As a matter of fact, I have, so many screenshots about Ken talking to Christy and Christy talking to whoever, all about whether or not Ken is gay. And the conclusion was come to about 6 years ago that this was a bunch of BS, bullshit. Even people that didn't like Ken had to admit, this was BS. Now, it's possible Ken swings both ways. And I don't blame him. Anybody can do whatever they want to do with their body and their lives, and I don't really care. I mean, the point is he's with Gypsy now and being a total asshole in so many ways. And that's what I'm more concerned about at this point in time. Okay, now I promise you, I'm getting to the part with the screenshots about Ken's sister, but first I need to show you what else is going all around social media. Essentially, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was caught. You could say caught. Someone took a picture of her with a guy in her neighborhood, holding a puppy. okay? And everybody came out and started talking about how they thought Gypsy was cheating on Ken with this guy. And it was further bolstered by the fact that someone came forward claiming to be the man's wife, and I have been told that this can be corroborated. And she said, like, my husband is cheating on me with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. So let's take a look at what happened here.
Does anyone know if this is true?
Okay, so this is the post that everyone is talking about, where a woman posted a picture of her husband with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, like, out and walking around, and I believe Gypsy's holding a puppy, and she writes, "This is my husband. I really feel as if he's cheating. He's blocked me on all social media, saying he needed privacy and a safe place to vent, like a journal, after I caught him and Gypsy Rose walking around our neighborhood together alone while I was at work. That's right, him and Gypsy Rose, unbelievable. I found it in his phone before he changed his password, picking comments. Now I can't see nothing he does. I don't know his phone password anymore. He has a 12-digit password, so it's impossible to guess. Please let me know if you recognize him." I'm going to talk about it, but I absolutely think this guy took a picture with Gypsy to set this all up, and they wanted to try to get some money or fame from this, but we'll talk about it.
Yep, looks like it's true, Nina. Here you go. Like it says, it took me only 2 seconds to find it.
Just look. Does anyone know if this is true?
Okay, now we're at the point where Ken Urker's sister goes to Facebook to speak out, okay? Now, if you're not aware, you can go back and watch my other videos, but she's spoken out once before. It was when Ken and Raina first went on Facebook and talked and exposed the relationship Ken now had with Gypsy and how she was leaving Ryan. And Urker's sister went to her social media and said, like, that's going to be a problem. I'm not going to be having somebody date my little brother who can't handle me, and we're a strong family. And she kind of went off about Gypsy. That's when I found her, started following her on social media, and I've seen her say a lot more since then, including that she wants Ken to be happy, so she's willing to accept Gypsy. I also watched Gypsy go to this woman's social media and like type to her and be like, I can't wait to meet you. I think we'll be really good friends, and I really love your brother. And all of Ken's sister's friends are all over Facebook being like, oh my God, I can't believe your brother's with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. That's crazy. All right, so for the last couple of weeks, the sister has stayed quiet, but she had to speak out about all of these comments and what she claims are falsities being said about Ken and Gypsy. All right, so let's go in order and see what she had to say. Y'all be so pressed about Gypsy and my brother, and really our whole family, literally. The rumors are hilarious. By the way, Gypsy is not cheating on my brother. They are in love and have big things ahead in the future. Someone needs to tell that crazy ass wife that she needs to get it out of her head for the sake of her marriage and her own good. I want to say, first and foremost, I absolutely believe this. No one can convince me that Gypsy will leave Ken for anything. You know, he's going to be the one that has to walk away from that relationship. That is her knight in shining armor, her Chad, as she likes to call him. And she's definitely panini pressed about keeping him in her home. Okay, so then her friend gets on there and is like, who are you talking about? There's no use trying to defend anything, try to set the record straight for anything. We'll be doing it for the rest of our lives. Best to let people be delusional. We know our brother, and that's all that matters. Okay. All right. So I'm guessing this is another sister of Ken's, but I haven't been able to confirm that. At first I thought it was just a friend. So then the sister that we know is a sister responds, some crazy delusional woman posted that Gypsy was cheating on Ken because she came home and caught Gypsy and her husband walking around the neighborhood alone. Like, girl, bye, LOL. And I know, but there's some things I just have to speak on. It's so stupid. So then the friend, who may or may not be another sister, says, yeah, all kinds of crazy things. And yet no proof, no screenshots, videos, messages, literally nothing. And these people are just like, OMG, if it's in the tabloids, it must be true. But won't believe the screenshots of their actual man cheating on them. And then the confirmed sister says, literally, even went on to brag about getting famous off of this. LOL, girl, you are not relevant to anybody but your husband. LOL. And it seems like she needs to be focused on that. All right, so then the confirmed sister says, the other one that cracks me up is that Ken had a secret affair with a man. A man? Ken with a man? Ha 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 ha. Like, where the hell do these people even come up with these stories or the time of day to do so? girl, I have to tell you, there's literally someone in a Facebook group who went on and on about this, so you should research it. Now, I don't think it's true, but people aren't just making it up. It was in a Facebook group. And the friend, who may also be a sister, said, okay, now this is the friend, but I'm pretty sure it's another sister of Ken's. I don't follow this person, so I don't want to say for sure. But she says, LMAO, it cracks me up when people say or don't like that Gypsy has a follow base by talking about her life publicly. Then they express these lies and false rumors by making a video, posting it, and bashing her publicly for a follow base. LMAO, like she can't talk about what happened to her on her interviews and TV, but a random stranger can make a video about someone they've never met a day in their life for the same thing, like money and followers, and call her the problem? Make it make sense. There's people out there with kids that wake up every single day and jump on their phones and stalk and obsess and make videos. And she just goes on to be like, this is ridiculous. She's talking about me, guys. These two are so great. So then sister number one, who's possibly a sister, says, just saying, you have proof or tea and immediately bring the proof to the table and following with an explanation are two completely different things. And then the original sister, who is definitely confirmed, says, effing facts. All right, these two are so funny. I picture them as like Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, like sitting around a table and eating crawfish in Louisiana while they visit Ken and they say all this stuff to each other. So I really enjoy them. I have to tell you, I hope that they get a spot on the reality show, though I haven't really watched it yet because it's kind of boring to me. I really think it's so fake, and I do not like reality shows. The reality world has gotten too fake for me. I liked it when it was not as polished, and it was just, maybe you'd watch more like boring stuff, but when it got to the real good stuff, it was real good because you knew it was real. So I have a hard time watching Gypsy, but I did want to share with you, this is just some of the stuff that Ken's sister is saying online, and she is definitely standing up for him when it comes to whether or not he's gay, and she wants everyone to know, like, look, just because you see a picture of Gypsy with a guy doesn't mean she's cheating on my brother. And I think most of us who are still sane can understand that. Yeah, so much to say. This family is crazy. I wish that they would do a real reality show where they talk about Christy's toxic web and all the shit that's gone on in this family for years now, because it's not just about Gypsy Rose like readapting to life and, trying to make a decision about her man. Like, it's really about some behind the scenes BS, like toxic, crazy BS that's going on. And that's the reality show I want to see. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. I hope you guys will join me next time as we head down yet another rabbit hole.